You didn't quit. You're really like against all odds. You're doing something that no one in the family's done, that none of your friends have done.
I'm just gonna say the thing you're not supposed to say.
Whatever is mine is looking for me.
You have to know what road to take to get to your final destination.
Everything that you ever wanted is on the other side of fear.
Hello, good evening. Let me make sure you can hear me because I changed my setup a little bit to give a different vibe. So let me know if you can hear me. I have my microphone. I know, I said I wasn't going to talk about this. But let me explain why I didn't want to talk about it. I didn't want to talk about it because I felt like people were trying to put me in drama, and I don't do drama. And I know there are girls out here that be like, oh, they don't do drama, and then they always in drama. I'm never in drama. I don't do drama. Like, when have you ever seen me in drama? Never. Never. So I decided to bow out of the conversation during that time because people were trying to create drama over a reality show. And I'm like, this is a teeny bopper reality show that I only reacted to because I was trying to connect to my younger audience and I wanted to meet them where they were at in life, which was Love Island. And, when I was younger, I had Jersey Shore, so it just was never that deep to me. And so I just decided to bow out around that time because I was like, whoa, like this is like turning into something that I did not sign up for. So I was like, let me bow out. But then some things changed, and I was like, oh, this is such a great conversation to have because, like, I took notes, and y'all know how I am with my notes. And I was like, this is such a great conversation to have because I feel like there's so much to learn that I want to talk about when it comes to just what we saw, what we were entertained by. That's what I'll say. And the things that followed after the entertainment of it all. And how things turned real quick. There was just a lot that went on. So let's get into it. Okay, thank you for all of the compliments. Is it lagging? Let me know. Is it lagging? Let me make sure everything is okay on my side. Everything is okay on my side. Please give the video a thumbs up. Please, please, please. I would really appreciate it. Okay, so let's get into this conversation about Ace and Chelley breaking up. Of course, there's more to it than he was young, right? Like there's way more to it. So when I think about Ace and Chelley's relationship, the only thing that I can think of is black love being the only thing truly holding them together. And that's not me throwing shade. That's just me being real. Like the only thing that was really holding them together was black love and making it work for the sake of black love. And I didn't really see them lasting beyond just that image and that perception publicly when it came to their relationship. So let me go ahead and show you. Oh, let me pull it up. I have so many screens here. Let me make sure. Okay. Hold on. Okay, is it showing just the application? Okay, I think we're good. Let me pull this down and then this up. Okay, are you able to see? I'm still watching my Choice TV breakdown. I'm in the middle of that. He gave us a 3-hour live stream. Can you believe that? Okay. So let's get into what Chelley went on the podcast and said, because I don't think people saw the full clip.
Ace is doing good.
Yeah.
He's doing good.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's doing good.
Oh.
So.
And are you guys like, are the talks of like, because are we, when the moving in together?
Not quite.
Not quite. Okay.
No,
Okay.
We have a ways to go.
We have a ways to go?
Yeah.
Okay.
No moving in together. Yeah, there's actually a lot just happening and stuff. So.
Oh, are things okay?
Well.
okay?
Are we moving? Okay.
Are we moving on?
So Ace and I actually decided to part ways.
Wait.
Yes.
Oh my God. Did you announce that?
No.
Oh my God. Chelley,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No. Don't, it's okay. Please don't. Like, it's okay.
How are you feeling?
I mean, it really was a tough decision, like for the both of us, and like, very hard to decide. But you know, when you love someone, sometimes loving someone means letting go. So I think we just got to that decision.
And also getting to a point where, because you both have love for each other, to end it before that ends. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So it came from like a mutual level of respect.
A mutual level of respect and understanding that, you know, we wanted this to work, but sometimes things don't work. Couples go through things that are very challenging, and sometimes the best thing to do is just, you know, make a decision that needs to be made.
And
So.
I have to imagine too, it must have been hard for you guys to come to this conclusion when there's a lot of eyes on you and a lot of people like being like, we love you guys together, blah, 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 blah. And you're like, okay, but we're going through, like, we're trying to be ourselves and the best that we can be.
Exactly.
How, like, were the conversations you both had with that?
You know, we had a lot of conversation, you know, and at the end of the day, it was just like a mutual agreement of like, you know what, this is for the best. And I've definitely thought about, like, you know, our supporters, our fans and stuff, but I'll trust that they'll understand that, you know, this decision needed to be made if we were able to come to this mutual decision.
Right.
So,
and like, obviously you want to keep some things private and to yourself, but for the fans who are hoping for a definitive answer of like, why did they break up? Like, what would you say? Like, what's kind of like the main reason?
Listen, a lot happens in relationships.
Okay.
And this is what I want to talk about. So what were some of the challenges? And I felt like the challenges were pretty obvious earlier on. And it seemed like a lot of people were willing to overlook that, all for the sake of Black love. And the reason I'm pointing out all for the sake of Black love is because as Black women, like, we try to force Black love all for the sake of Black love. But then, like, what does it do to ourselves when we do that? And it's not that you can't be with a Black man or anything like that, but like, when that's the only thing that is really holding the relationship together, then what is it doing to you though? And I feel like that was one thing I don't think Chelley considered at all. I think it was so much deeper than just the fans. I think it was not wanting to disappoint like the Black community, and we already know how that goes, like not wanting to disappoint people that were rooting for her, all for the sake of like Black love and things like that. And I think that may have been another reason why she stayed as long as she did. And then when he went on the podcast and he said what he said, he didn't apologize, he didn't take it back, he didn't even take accountability about how his words had a negative perception. And he couldn't even like wrap his head around that. Like, he couldn't understand how it was going to create a ripple effect. He still doubled down on what he said, which made it worse.
To your final destination.
Which made it worse. And I think that this created another power struggle within their relationship. And we all saw what that power struggle looked like on Love Island, because there was that little power struggle that they had in their relationship, and they just couldn't get on the same page about who could explore options with who and when and why, and making sure that the other person felt comfortable. It was like they had that little power struggle, and that's around the time where we were like, okay, Chelley has a little ego on her as well. Like, it's not just Ace. And she would not back down. He was not backing down. And there was just this power struggle, and it was just going back and forth. And the answer to that with that power struggle was basically, let's lock in. And I didn't feel comfortable with that. Like, I was like, y'all lock it in all because there was a little power struggle, and it didn't seem like they really worked through it at all. Like, it just seemed like they just got together and brushed things over, smoothed things over, and that was it. And the reason I'm pointing this out is because this is a pattern that followed. And I feel like a lot of people don't slow down to see patterns before they continue on trying to force something, because that always needed to be addressed, because the relationship was never going to last. Like, if you can't get on the same page with your partner and it's really stemming from a power struggle about, no, I want to do this, but the other person is saying, but I want to do this, then you're not meeting in the middle. You're not really compromising. You're creating this power struggle where you're not really on the same team. And that's really not your partner, because you're not working together. And that was the loudest part to me when it came to the relationship, and ultimately probably what led to their breakup. Obviously, probably what led to their split.
And, you know, I just feel like people can understand that, you know. I think out of respect for the both of us, like, the details aren't really necessary, right. You know, like, I think we can be peaceful and just understand that, you know, we're good with being able to be on the same page.
And that's like such an interesting thing, like you were mentioning, Danny, just like knowing that so many people ship the two of you, and we're supporting you guys. Did that sort of, do you think that extended the relationship longer than it might have lasted, because you kind of like felt in a way that you owed it to the fans to kind of like stick together?
No, because like, our relationship from the very beginning was an understanding of, like, our relationship isn't for the press, for the media or anything. Like, it's because I truly love you and you truly love me. But, you know, challenges happen in relationships, and sometimes, like I said, like, you want to just be able to say, you know what, let's leave it right here before you know, it turns into something never needs to be. Like, we can leave off on light and love, you know.
And also that's what I kind of, especially what you were talking about, how much stuff you're planning for 2026.
And when it came to like their power struggles, the tension in their relationship, when they actually had the tension, it never seemed like they fully got past it. But you let me know, do you feel like they fully got past the issues, like the cracks that showed on the show? Do you really feel like they were able to really get past those issues? Or do you think that those issues were kind of brushed over? In my opinion, I felt like there was a lot of brushing over. There was a lot of smoothing over, but like, things weren't really addressed head on. It was kind of like smoothed over and brushed over. And I don't know, it was almost, at times it felt like they were more focused on trying to win the show than really trying to like see if this could really work at times. Like, they were trying to win over America. They were trying to win the show itself. And it seems like they didn't really address the real issues in the disagreements in their relationships, their relationship at that time. But let me know. You may feel differently.
Have to, like, to try to fix something that doesn't need to be fixed because it could just be where it is, like, could slow you both down for that.
Absolutely.
And also now I totally understand why you're like, I don't think I want to go on a reality show to unpack all of this.
And I mean, I just want to be able to, I just want to be able to, because honestly, this whole process is going to come with a lot of healing, a lot of growth, and a lot of just time with myself, you know. So I just would love that privacy and be able to just, you know, focus on myself going forward.
And I feel like and to focus on yourself, and then when you feel ready, you know, you can like be in a different place, and you might even want different things in a future relationship, you know what I mean?
Exactly. Like, it's all about, I think we're put on this earth to like experience people. So who knows how long that experience could last. Like, sometimes we want it to last a lifetime, and sometimes it's just like it's for that moment in time, you know? So it's like, very grateful nonetheless. And at the end of the day, I wish Ace the best. And for myself, I'm like, okay, I just have to focus, healing, growth.
You're like, I wish the best for myself.
What's next? I truly do, you know? So that's where I'm at.
I'm having a vision for single Chelley right now. Tell me if you're aligning with this vision. So you're single, you're doing your thing, you accomplished so much at the start of 2026. You're acting,
Okay, we'll come back to that. So another thing that I want to point out too is that a lot of people feel like Ace, and again, this is unpopular, but I ultimately feel like Ace brought Chelley down. Like, period. I feel like he brought her down. Chelley had this dope ass personality. Like, when we connected with Chelley through the show, she had an amazing personality. I mean, when she walked into the villa, everyone just naturally gravitated towards her, and people naturally gravitated towards her because of her personality. And she was just like very cool, very just down to earth, like just a natural person, that just a natural connection, natural interaction, like not forced. Chelley is not the type of person where you have to force a conversation with her. She just makes things just very natural. And I felt like Ace really brought her down and put a really nasty look on her public image. And she was like the sweetheart at first. Like everyone loved Chelley. She was like the sweetheart. And I remember in the season, everyone was like, Chelley, Chelley, Chelley. Like everyone had Chelley in their mouths. And it just seems like the more she partnered up with Ace as the show continued, it just seems like her likeness went down with it. And it just seems like the more they paired up, the more they coupled up, the more they went back and forth, the more people shipped them. And when I mean like ship them, put them together in a relationship, it was like the more her likability decreased. And I'm pointing this out to women, especially women that are wanting to be in the public eye. You want to do content creating, you want to be famous or whatever like that. You have to be able to recognize that. You also have to be able to recognize that even when it comes to, I don't know, whatever type of career you want to explore, or maybe like even some type of internship or something like that, your partner and how you both present yourself and how he presents himself, that has a major impact on you. And if you know you're wanting a successful career, and part of that is involving your partner and your spouse, like maybe work events, galas and things like that, you want to make sure like your spouse knows how to represent you well while you're able to still stand in your light, and like he be there to support that light instead of dimming it. And I felt like Ace came in and he really dimmed her light. And that's when I felt like there was a switch when it came to Chelley being the sweetheart to now Chelley is rubbing people the wrong way. So I feel like that had a lot to do with it. And then there were also times where it would be like stuff like this. Let me show you. Is it this one? Like it would be like interactions like this just made her look not as friendly and more competitive. And Chelley had like the sweetheart image.
Everybody and seeing everybody's fits. Like we had a lot of well-dressed people in the building. I would like to say we were top 3 and not number 2 or 3.
Right.
Wait, be careful because there's a piece of paper in there.
I know I'm not gonna let the paper get in there.
Let me replay that one more time. And I feel like this is the energy that Ace kind of rubs off on her, and then like it creates this energy, which creates a totally different perception of her that goes against what we originally saw her to be on the show.
Everybody and seeing everybody's fits. Like we had a lot of well-dressed people in the building. I would like to say we were top 3 and not number 2 or 3.
Right.
Wait, be careful.
And you know, like, yeah, and see. So this is when we were like, okay, Ace is not the only one with this ego. Like everyone keeps saying, oh, it's just Ace, it's just Ace. I feel like they kind of feed off each other with that a little bit. I don't feel like it's just Ace. I feel like it's unfair to just say it's just Ace, it's just Ace. I think they kind of feed off each other and influence each other in a way. Let me see here. So I think it is.
If I never said it before, I'm saying it now. We saw this coming between Ace and Chelley. We knew they weren't gonna work out. I say this because in that relationship, there were 2 people vying to be the center of attention. And it was very clear from how Ace moved in the house. But then post-Villa, I didn't see it working. He absolutely stunted the opportunities that she may have had. He soured the perception of her on the show and after the show, which I'm sure she took note of. I'm sure the comments of he's ruining your bag, he's ruining.
Listen, I tell people all the time that it's all about reading the room, okay? you are this couple that's coming off this show, and the perception of you is you're jealous. Your man is jealous. Like, and again, it goes back to if Chelley would have said this with a Cordell, right? Would the perception be the same? Probably not. It would probably be a different perception. But because Ace was so heavily involved with Jeremiah and Huda and all of that, and then you decide to partner up with him, and then you say something like that, right? You're choosing to take on the perception that's kind of like not choosing to, you're feeding into the perception that's already out here because you're partnered with him. Now, if you would have been partnered with Chris and you would have said something like that, it would have never been a big deal. And I need people to understand that perception matters. Like, a lot of people feel like, oh, I don't care. And that's how we got into this situation. It's like, it was the perception. Like, it always came down to that. And that's part of the reason why their brand together, it just didn't seem like it stuck well, because it's like, okay, you have Chelley, the sweetheart, and then you have Ace, the Mr. Bigger than the program, and it's like, okay, that's clashing already. And so on that particular episode, I don't even know what this was, because I talked about this on my TikTok months ago. Complex. And again, like, it's literally the perception. And I think that it goes back to, they had a lot of cracks in their relationship, because these are conversations you should have with your partner about how you want to move forward publicly if you're going to be public with your partner. So perception, like, it matters. And I think that's, and one thing you have to understand about Love Island, you have to play fair and cordial, and you have to play like a good sport. And if you don't play like that role, then you're not likable. Like, that's just part of the show. Like, you're just not likable at all. At all. Not for like brand deals, not for like people wanting to work with you and things like that. Like, you have to play a good sport. And I have not watched season 6, but like the Powerpuff Girls, I feel like they did that very well, which was why a lot of them were able to exceed in their own lane. And there wasn't like a drop off or anything like that. It's because they were just a good sport.
In your bag were things she was paying attention to. Moreover, it would be very hard to convince me that Ace is not the type of guy that needs constant reassurance and to be made to feel like the prize in the relationship. And if we need an example of that, think back to when she was choosing.
And I'm gonna say this one more time. Okay. You have to understand that when you choose a certain man, it can make you unlikable. Like, I'm just telling you what it is. Like, it can really make you unlikable. Like, seriously, this is why you have to choose carefully. Like, you really do. Like, it can literally make you unlikable. Seriously. It could change your whole image, people's perception of you, people's idea of you. Like, you have to choose carefully. We see women all the time. Like, I know y'all have seen situations with women where they were like the good girl and then they chose the bad guy. It's the same thing. Like, you have to understand that if you're going to be in a public relationship, like, it matters. It matters.
Austin over and over, and she kept keeping him around as an option while she had Ace as an option. In a man like that's mind, it would not make sense as to why this man, who I feel is lesser than me, isn't as cool as me, doesn't have the riz or whatever we want to call it, why is he still an option? Like, how are we? I feel that he looked at Chelley different because she had interest in, what's his face, Austin. And I'm sure that ego was big hurt being in a position where he had to compete with Austin for somebody who he probably felt should be choosing him.
And let me go on. Let me say this too. Since we talking about it, let me say Halle Bailey is a prime example. But I see so many women complain about Nick and Olandria being a PR relationship, Megan and Klay Thompson being a PR relationship, Tiana Taylor and Mufasa being a PR relationship. I don't care. I don't give 2 fucks. And I'm going to tell you why. These are men that don't mess up their bag. Like, these are men that make them look better in the public eye. These are men that support their brand. These are men that support their image in a healthy way, in a way that makes them a bigger bag, in a way that makes them more likable, in a way to where they're able to sell music, products, or whatever else. I would rather see PR relationships where Black women are able to make bigger bags, they're able to get more money, they're able to create a bigger brand, than to see Black women in relationships with men that ruin their brand, ruin their public image, that put like a tainted perception on their public image, like Halle Bailey is a prime example of that. So I would rather see PR relationships, even though I don't think these relationships are PR, but say they are. Who cares? Like, maybe we need to bring back PR relationships, because when I was coming up, PR relationships were a thing. But the whole point and purpose was for both people in the relationship to benefit publicly. Like, that was the whole point. Mufasa, I think he had a movie that came out, and then Tiana Taylor had her own little projects. And like, this is, to me, like, this is part of the business. But what's not a part of the business is being linked to a man who is bringing you down publicly to the point where he's stopping your bag. He's tainting your public image. He is also like creating controversy around your name and your public image to the point where now your opportunities are limited. You're not getting the opportunities that maybe you could get if maybe you chose a different guy. Like, that's just the reality of the situation. So, I mean, honestly, you have to consider that. Keke Palmer, like, we used to see Keke Palmer as this, again, an American sweetheart. But ever since she got with that man, when she got with that man, same thing with Halle Bailey. When she got with that man, it just tainted their public image, and it just, now, like, I'm pretty sure they won't even get the same roles that they could have gotten before. Like, it's really that deep, y'all, when it comes to public image, public perception. It all matters. Klay Thompson, in my opinion, is creating an image for Megan that's softer, feminine, grown, mature, sensual. Like, he's creating a different perception around her compared to what was out here before. Tiana Taylor, same thing. Like, there's a sensual, soft, feminine image that Mufasa is helping her create with her public image. And then when it comes to who else? I can do this all day, but I'm saying, like, the point is, it matters. It matters. And I would rather see PR relationships than to see these other type of relationships like Halle Bailey, Keke Palmer, and now Michelle and Ace, where it's like the man is bringing them down, is tainting their public image, and is just changing the trajectory of their career in a sense, because this man came in and changed her public image, and it's just, it is what it is. Okay, let me continue.
Over and over and over, because again, he's the prize. And then I think back to that Speedy interview where they talked about making things official, and he kind of like said something along the lines of like he didn't see it necessary right now, or I don't remember exactly what he said, but I do remember finding it absolutely insane and thinking, Chelley, what are you doing? You're older than this man. You could have an older man, you could have a younger man, you could have a man your age, but you don't need to be with a man that's making you jump through hoops to have a title, or who feels like you should jump through hoops to have a title. I believe that
and listen, I also want to say this too. I don't feel like this really takes away from Black love, because honestly, I feel like Taylor and Clark are on the same page as far as like their brand, their image, and things like that. Like, it's the whole Black love, country Black love. It's the cowgirl, Black cowboy type of thing. I feel like they're more on the same page, in my opinion, than Ace and Chelley. I said this was going to be unpopular. I said it was going to be unpopular.
Related self persona that we see come across on social media and that we saw on TV really is rooted in the fact that man is not confident. He's not confident. And if you look back to the show, the reason people liked Chelley and Ace was because of Chelley. It had nothing to do with Ace. And
Okay, so what I'm referring to is the momentum Chelley had when she left Love Island. Are you saying that Chelley has the same momentum that she had when she came out of Love Island, the villa? Or has her momentum shockingly decreased that it's noticeable? Like I told y'all that there was a photo of Chelley that was so bomb. It was her Halloween Catwoman look. And I'm like, damn, this is fire. Because I still follow her. And I'm like, why is she not getting the engagement? Like this, like it was so good. Like it was such a great photo. I didn't understand why she was getting the engagement. So you're telling me that Chelley has the same momentum that she had before she left the villa? Just let me know. Do you feel like she has the same momentum? If you feel like she has the same momentum, put a 1 in the chat. If you feel like she does not have the same momentum, put a 2 in the chat. Okay. 1 if you feel like she does. 2 if you feel like she doesn't. I would like to know. I don't feel like she has the same momentum. And this is what I want women to understand is that when you link with a man, the energy that is exchanged from linking with him by sleeping in the same bed, not even just sexually, just sleeping in the same bed, being in his vortex, your aura and vortex, like you start to exchange energy and frequency. Like there's a rhythm that is now created between the two of you, but it's not always sexually. And so what impacted Ace also impacted her, and it was energetic, and you could literally see it. You could literally see that both of them lost momentum, and they were the core 4. Like honestly, they were beating out even the other couples like Amaya and Brian. Nobody was really looking at them like that, but there was a momentum that they had that when he went on that podcast, that momentum dried up. And it dried up slowly. Like it wasn't like fast, which was also interesting to watch, like from like a social experiment perspective. But it was like, damn, it just seemed like it just dried up little by little by little by little by little. Actually, I would like to know, like if you were following them and if you were engaging in them, what made you pull back your energy? Because you have to understand, people were giving both of them their energy, which was what was creating the momentum. But if you saw the energy, it just pulled, a lot of people pulled back their energy and the momentum went down. Like that's what we all watch. So let me know. But I was like, damn, I want to know what made people pull back their energy from them. Was it really just Ace? Did you start seeing Chelley differently? Like, I really want to know because I don't know, it's fascinating to me.
America was voting against her because of him. They quite literally wanted her out of the house because you're just affiliated with him. So now you both got to go. I genuinely think that Chelley stuck it out with Ace instead of jumping ships and going to Chris because she felt that she could win with Ace. I genuinely think she had this idea of how America saw them and thought, we're the strongest couple. We have what it takes to win. And I also think he was convincing her of that. I'm not going to lie. I feel like he manipulated her thoughts a lot or manipulated how she moved in the house. If you think back to that discussion that they had about her keeping her options open when she was exploring Chris, Ace was so misunderstanding, and I'm sorry, but I didn't agree with him. Like, I agree that Chelley sometimes wouldn't communicate the things.
And why was he misunderstanding during that time? He was emotionally immature. He was emotionally immature. He only wanted to see things one-sided. And that was like the biggest red flag for me. And so I'm taking that situation, right? And this is strictly my opinion, but I believe that that transferred and that transitioned off the show privately into their relationship. So when it came to the Speedy interview, he only saw it one-sided. He only saw one-sided. Wow, what's the big deal? It's not even that serious. When it was. Like, it was very serious. And I believe that that is what transitioned privately behind closed doors. And when the Speedy situation came up, he only saw it from his point of view. And on the show, when it came to Chris and, you know, Chelley exploring her options, again, back to what I was saying earlier, I don't think they really addressed it. Like, I felt like they kind of brushed it over, smoothed it over, and kind of just pushed past it by locking it in, but they really didn't address that. And I feel like that transitioned privately when it came to the Speedy interview situation. So I believe they broke up because the relationship became a liability professionally, and it just really showcased that they were not aligned. And another thing that I want to point out too, when it comes to Ace and Chelley, they talked about, especially I think within the first episode or two on Love Island, where they met up in New York, and it just seemed, and they talked about how they were always like randomly bumping into each other, but it just seemed like it was never the right time, or they just kept missing each other in ways, like whenever they would link up. And we've all had connections like that, where you're like, damn, like it feels like this is my person because of the chemistry that we have, but why doesn't it feel like it can work? And it was because they were never aligned. And even though, and this is what's so crazy, and I feel like this is the bigger lesson when it comes to all of this, even though they were on the show, they still weren't fully aligned. And I believe that the Speedy interview showed, or it like really highlighted, that they still weren't aligned. Okay? That they still weren't in full alignment with each other. So, and I don't want to compare other couples and things like that, so I'm gonna just keep it strictly on Ace and Chelley. But I mean, if you haven't experienced, but there will be connections in your life as a woman that you will meet someone and it will feel like it's meant to be. It will feel like there's a strong pull, there's a strong connection. What are the odds of us being here at this place at this time? However, if you try and it just seems like it's still not in alignment, it's because it's not. Like you feel like you can't agree on this, you can't reach an understanding on this, you can't reach some type of balance within your relationship, then it's still out of alignment. Okay, so the same misalignment that they spoke about on the show when they bumped into each other in New York is the same misalignment that the Speedy interview exposed and revealed. And it started publicly, like slowly it started publicly, but then privately it really started because, I mean, think about it. When you went on this show, your whole purpose was to find love, and they found that. And I do feel like there was some love here, and I still feel like there is love here. But the only thing is, I don't think that their relationship was ready for something like the fallout and the ripple effect that the Speedy interview had on their relationship. I don't think that it was truly ready for something like that. I think that they needed some more time to learn each other, to develop, to understand like communication styles, to understand like how they wanted to handle conflict, to understand how they want to address things publicly as a couple. I think that their relationship needed more time, but because Ace did what he did, he went on that podcast, he like sped things up, and it just created like this horrible imbalance, and the cracks could be seen. Like the cracks could be seen from the outside.
She was trying to say exactly how they are, or maybe in a way that would, you know, really let this man understand what she's saying. Don't sugarcoat it. Tell him exactly like it is. You tried to keep your options open for as long as possible. You had me waiting for you to pick me, chose Amaya over me. And then when I gave you a taste of that same medicine, it's a problem. That just goes to show you that Ace is that type of guy that thinks he's the prize. And he can do it, but you cannot. I also don't think Chelley is going to be able to recoup the opportunities that would have come her way had she just left that house alone.
I think so. I believe in redemption. I just believe that when you do have a redemption, it has to be real. That's it. I believe in redemption. I believe in vindication. I believe in all of that. I believe that you can make a mistake. You can make a wrong choice. You can make a wrong decision. I don't believe that you have to live in regret and that you need to shrivel up and like hide yourself. I believe that you can create a redemption over your life as long as you're real about it. That's it. As long as you're real. And I feel like that honesty starts with yourself. I feel like that honesty starts with accountability. I feel like that honesty starts with you wanting to improve and grow and learn from the experience. I feel like everyone has the opportunity to have a redemption, okay? Especially when it comes to something like this. Maybe like other things, like if we were to talk about Diddy, no, that's a totally, but something like this, her choosing silence, and I want to also point this out too. Her silence wasn't complacent, it was compliant. She came across compliant. And I think that that's the reason why her public perception changed. It wasn't that she was just silent, it was that she left the public room to feed or to fill in what she didn't say. And people came up with their own assumptions about how she really felt. But behind the scenes, she could have been in full disagreement. She didn't have to agree with what Ace did, but publicly, you have to understand, back to perception, the public perception, her silence came across as compliant. Okay? It came across as compliant, not complacent, not like I'm unbothered, it came across as compliant. And, you know, it could be divided, right? Because duality is a real thing. Nuance is a real thing. You can have 50% of people feeling like she's complacent, and then the other 50% of people feeling like she's compliant. But the thing was, and what I'm trying to highlight, is her silence left people to fill in what they thought. And she should have said something, okay? And another thing too, when it came to their relationship, that the Speedy interview kind of revealed, probably for the both of them, both publicly and privately, is how to deal with conflict, how to address and take accountability within their relationship, that words do have impact. And it seems like Ace could not just accept that words have impact. Like, that it can come with a negative, that words can come with a perception that does not mean it was your intent. So like, you could say something, right? And you can have all the positive intentions in the world. However, your words and how they land can impact the perception to be negative. And that is exactly what happened. And it just seems like he could not understand that. And it seemed like Chelley, I feel like Chelley was more understanding of that. She probably was fully understanding of that, especially privately, but publicly she just didn't go against him. But privately she could have fully like understood exactly how his words had a negative perception, even though that was not his intent. But still, the way it landed, it just had a negative perception. And it was almost like he couldn't mature up just enough to understand that, to correct his wrongs so that they could move forward. And one thing that I noticed about Ace, and I may be jumping ahead here, one thing I noticed about Ace is that he will literally not take accountability, or if things get hard, he'll abandon shit and he'll pout and he'll have like a little attitude. So I kind of noticed it when, let me see. I want to say, when did I notice it? I noticed it when she went on when they had the Love Island press tour, and it was the Today Show. Oh, girl, it's in my face. Hold on. This is when I knew, I was like, this is not gonna work. Okay. He had Chelley at the press tour, and this was like the press tour that was supposed to promote the reunion of Love Island around that time. And he made her do it by herself. So she was out there on the press tour alone, and it was his choice not to go. Like, he chose not to go. So he could even put his emotions aside, his ego aside, to just be there for Chelley. Like, you don't got to be there for the producers. You don't got to be there for the naysayers and all of that. But you couldn't show up for your woman. And listen, one thing that, and I'm going to say this until I'm probably dead, is my father taught me what love really is. Like, I always wanted to know, what is love? 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 Like, what love? What is that? Like, what really is it? Like, everyone talks about it. Everyone wants it. Everyone wants to experience it. But what is it for real? And he showed me what it was. And it's a man showing up. That's it. He may not know how. He may not want to. Right? But he gonna show up for you, though. He's not going to abandon you. He's not going to leave you. He's not going to leave you with a child. He's not going to leave you to figure it out. He's not going to leave you to deal with it all. Like, he's going to show up. He may not know how you need him to show up. He may not even understand how he needs to show up, but he still shows up. He still shows up. He still shows up regardless because he loves you. He may not want to be there. He may hate it, but he still shows up because he loves you. So this right here should have really told people how this relationship was going to go. That Ace was always going to choose himself. That Chelley was in a relationship, but was Ace. Because it seemed like Ace was in a relationship with his ego. Maybe that's why he got Ace tatted on his back. I don't know. But it seemed like Ace was in a relationship with his ego, and it seemed like Chelley was in a relationship with Ace. And it seems like Chelley gave, Chelley poured, Chelley supported, Chelley cared. But if it ever came down to Ace, his ego and Chelley, he was always going to choose his ego. And this situation, this photo right here, really highlights that. And listen, if Chelley would have came off the show and this is how she was stepping, she's still a winner to me. Okay? Sometimes the man is not sometimes choosing the man is just not the reward you think it is. Sometimes choosing the man is not the reward that you think it is. Okay? Sometimes you choosing yourself is the bigger reward. And that's okay. I know society doesn't paint it that way. I know society doesn't teach women to view it that way. But sometimes choosing yourself is the bigger reward. Okay? So I kind of felt bad for Chelley. I was like, why he let her do that by herself?
I would have to say maybe Dancing with the Stars, since I love dancing. I'm a hip hop girly, but also I would want to try something like fresh and new, like maybe ballroom dancing, or like, you know, when you're twisting your hips and getting dipped and stuff, like all that fun stuff.
Dream partner?
Ace.
Feels like a cowboy reality TV show. I would go on that one.
Honestly, as in right now, I don't really see myself doing another reality TV show.
Yeah, I would probably do competition based. I'd do the challenge of Dancing with the Stars, bring out the Spanish side a little bit. Yeah.
I don't know. This came from reality TV, so it's flat.
Probably that Paris Hilton one. What's the one country? Where she goes on the country with Nicole Richie. Simple Life.
Interesting. He says simple life. That's very interesting. Okay. So let me continue. So another thing that I wanted to point out too, it didn't seem like Ace and Chelley had conversations about what they wanted their public brand to be and how they wanted their public brand to be together and what their individual brands would be. It seemed like they were solid on their individual brands, but their brand that they had together, it didn't seem like they were on the same page with that. And so when it came to, one thing I noticed is like when they worked together around Halloween, it was more so Chelley was doing what Ace wanted to do. And then Chelley had to go off and do her own thing. And then Ace, there was no switch up with him. Like, it was like, this is what I'm doing, da-da-da. But it just seems like Chelley always had to give more. Like, it seemed like she always had to give more. So Chelley had the cherries. And then Ace, I don't know what he calls his people, but is it Ace Boogies or the Boogies or something like that? I really don't know. But it seems like Chelley was always trying to fit herself into his world instead of them creating their own world together. And it seems like when Ace came out of the villa, it was all about me, 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 me. me, bigger, Mr. Bigger than the program. Like that was like his whole like brand. But it's like, okay, but it's not just you. It's not just me, just bigger than the program. Like it's Chelley now. And it just seems like he didn't know how to integrate them publicly. Oh, it's Ace Mob. Okay, the Ace Mobs and the Cherries. It didn't seem like they really created their fans created a name, but it didn't seem like they knew how to fill up that lane that the fans created, like Chelley's. And it just seems like the fans came up with the name and then they were doing their own thing, but they didn't create a brand like Chelley's together. And that to me was very loud. Like I was like, why is nobody calling that out? Like they really didn't create a brand together. They had individual brands and they would come together, but it didn't seem like they put that much focus on the brand that they shared outside of their fans just calling them Chelley's. So that was something that I also noticed, which also brings me to when it came down to it, it doesn't seem like they had the necessary conversations that they needed to have before they came out of the villa because they were going to be a public couple and brand. It seems like they didn't have enough conversations about that. Like how they wanted to handle public conflict, how they wanted to handle like accountability, how they wanted to address things publicly as a couple. You can tell when it comes to other couples, I'm not going to say no names because again, this is not a competition. The internet loves to make everything a competition, but it's hard for me not to highlight the other couple because you can tell that they had certain conversations that when they came out of the villa, they were moving as a team. They were moving within a partnership. And they were having conversations about how they wanted to handle certain things. Or when something came up, they had a good communication, effective communication foundation to where when something did come up and it was conflict and it was controversial, you could tell that they spoke on how they wanted to handle that because they laid a good foundation when it came to their communication styles. So that was one thing I noticed. If anything, when it came to Ace and Chelley, it's like when they came into the public conflict, they had a private conflict when really they should have known how they wanted to handle it or at least had a an effective communication style in place so that they could handle the conflict. So that was something that I also noticed. And then also they didn't talk about like risk tolerance. Risk tolerance is, are we able to take, or like, would you take that risk? Because I wouldn't. And then coming to an agreement on, well, what is your risk tolerance when it comes to public perception, having a public image and things like that? Because there are risks that you can take and it may not impact your partner, but then there are other risks that you could take. And the Speedy interview was very risky. And I don't think Chelley was in agreement with that level of risk that Ace took. And I feel like, and I'm bringing this up because if you're going to get in a public relationship, these are conversations that you need to have. If you're a public figure, a content creator, whatever the case may be, even if you are, just if you have a social media account, really, anything that you post to your social media can be used against you. Like we all know that now. It's 2025. We're about to go into 2026. So have these conversations with your partner. Like, what is your risk tolerance when it comes to what you're posting and what you're doing on social media? What conversations are you having? Those are conversations that definitely need to be had. And I don't feel like they had that conversation. I think Ace went and did what he wanted to do. And then he left Chelley to like basically just deal with it. Let me continue. Okay. Ooh, I think I want to talk about, no, not that one.
And Ace from Love Island have officially called it quits. People magazine is now reporting on the breakup and they included some tidbits that I did not include in my last video, so let's go over it. Chelley went on the Sirius XM Page 6 radio, officially announced the split there. This was her official statement. It was a really tough decision for the both of us and very hard to decide, but you know, when you love someone, sometimes loving someone means letting go. I think we just got to that decision. The pair still have a mutual level of respect and understanding that, you know, we wanted things to work, but sometimes things don't work. She continued, adding couples go through things that are very challenging, and sometimes the best thing to do
And one thing I'm also noticing about Ace, he is always leaving Chelley to clean up his mess. Are y'all not noticing that? Even when it comes to this breakup, like, it seemed like he left her to deal with that. It seems like he's never trying to address what needs to be addressed so that she doesn't have to be dragged. There's like a consistent pattern of that. So when one thing, and we about to get into it because the title of this thumbnail, I had to change it to Black Love because I wrote my notes down and I'm like, wait a minute, we got to talk about this. So Ace left her to deal with the public fallout because he was more focused on standing on business and standing on I said what I said. He didn't apologize. He didn't take accountability. So then people started looking to Chelley, like, girl, this your man. You cool with this? Like, you know? And so Ace was able to make a clean exit. Ace made a clean exit. I don't think people noticed that. Ace made a clean exit because he found protection in what, ladies? What did he find protection in? I'm a Black man. I'm a Black man and I can speak my mind. He found protection within the realm of I'm a Black man. He still gets support from his majority of his fan base, which are who? Black men. They still support him. He didn't really lose support with them. He didn't lose support with them at all. So I'm a Black man trope. Now, did some Black women turn? Yes, of course. But not all Black women turn. And majority of Black men didn't turn. Like, he has the right to speak his mind. He's a man, right? He's a man. So we already know that Black men are protected. They're protected the most. So he could go and get away with I said what I said. But Chelley was dragged and she was left unprotected. She was dragged. She was dragged so bad that people started to expect for Olandria to step in and come and protect her. She was being dragged so bad that another Black woman she was looking to be her savior and not the man that she was in a relationship with. Can't make it up. And it all came down to this. It all came down to this.
Confident people really know who they are, whereas ego-driven people need everyone else to know it too. Confidence will listen, whereas ego interrupts. Confident lifts others up because it's not threatened, whereas ego will tear other people down just to feel taller. Confidence is grounded in truth, whereas ego is addicted to perception. When you're confident, you act because it matters, because it's important to you. But when it's ego, you act because you need to be seen by somebody else. Confident people are always seeking growth. Ego-driven people are seeking control. As you can see, true confidence comes from self-awareness, while ego is insecurity dressing up as strength.
Now, the reason I'm pointing this out is because Ace publicly sacrificed her for his own ego. And this wasn't his first time doing this. Because again, the Today Show, right? Like, why did Chelley, a Black woman, have to go on a press tour by herself? It didn't seem like he cared at all. So he abandoned her for his ego when he refused to do the press tour for the Love Island reunion. She had to do the Today Show alone. And then what else did he do? Then he sacrificed her again, all for the sake of speaking his mind. Okay? So it just seems like it was always about Ace. Like, everything came first with him. And it seems like Chelley was just going along with that. So let's continue. And the reason why I'm also pointing this out is because I need Black women to understand, like, girl, it ain't just about you choosing a Black man. It's about choosing the right Black man. If you're going to pick a Black man, choose the right one. Because, I mean, her mental health, I can only imagine what her mental health was like. And he just watched her go through that and didn't do nothing. Like, he watched her, and I'm pretty sure she was going through it behind the scenes. Like, if y'all saw the comments, they were always dragging her. They were like, you still with him? You should leave him, girl. Da, da, da. She had to consistently deal with that. And I know he sat back and he watched that. I know he did. You're telling me that that man didn't see it? He didn't see what she had to go through mentally, spiritually, emotionally? And this is why I'm always telling women that it's not just protect a woman physically, it's protect her emotionally, mentally, spiritually. And it just didn't seem like he did that at all. He just left her out by herself to deal with it. And he made a clean exit, and people protected the black man because he has a right to speak his mind. Y'all know how I go. Okay, let me show the other one. I feel like I'm missing something. Oh, this is the clip. I think it's shoot. Is it this one? No. Not this one. Did I show it? Did I pull it up? Maybe I didn't pull it up, y'all. I could have sworn I did. Okay, let me just click on this one.
So I'm scrolling on Twitter when I see a headline.
Girl, why did I think this y'all, why did I think this was Justine? I thought this was Justine. I was like, Justine, girl, you being messy? Not Justine. Y'all, I love me some Justine. Okay. Justine, it's just something about Justine. Like, the girl is beautiful. Like, she really is gorgeous. That glow she has is just breathtaking. She is gorgeous to me. So I thought this was Justine at first, but I'm like, okay.
Chelley announces her and Ace have officially broken up. And I was raised that, like, if you have nothing nice to say, then, like, you just shouldn't say anything. So fuck that. I got nothing to say to the 521. Simply because he's really just he's literally been a joke the entire time. So, and I feel like everybody can agree that this man was a fucking joke. So to be honest, most of my critique before y'all start this shit, everybody got something to say about the woman. Nobody ever want to say nothing about the man. Shut your bitch ass up, please. First of all, sister girl, it never made sense for you to be in a whole full-blown relationship with a 22-year-old TikTok star that you met when he was like 18. That never made sense. The origin story never made sense. It constantly changed from episode 1 to the interview with fucking Speedy.
No, I know a lot of women feel like it was just Ace. It was just the man. Ladies, that 2025, that's not working no more. No, you can't put all the blame on the man, because you have to look at yourself and take accountability about what you allowed to take place. You may have been done wrong in the situation, but you still stood by him and you stayed. Like, even when it had a negative impact on you. Because listen, one thing about me, that man would have fucked up my money. He would have been kicked to the door. Like, girl, sir, you gotta go. You messing up my bag? You messing up my bag? I mean, the detachment would have been so quick, like, oh, gotta go. No, you can't put everything on men all the time. That can't be your scapegoat every time. Every time. It just can't be. I'm sorry. Like, and then people are debating about, can she come back from this because she didn't leave soon enough for some people. And to be honest, when it came to this whole thing, what's the reason and the purpose for accountability? You understanding your power. You can pick up, you can leave, you have free will. Like, you have a say-so over your own life. When you blame the man, you make it seem like you have no say-so. Unless it's truly like a physically abusive relationship, maybe even emotionally abusive, okay, I can be empathetic to that. But when there's no like physical and emotional abuse, it's just you staying because you're choosing to stay, that's a choice you're making. And then you're making everyone else support that choice, right? If they care about you, they will. So you can't blame men all the time. Like, you can't do that, y'all. I'm sorry. Especially when you sitting in interviews like this. This is what I wanted to show you. When you sitting up in interviews like this, and this man is still at it. And this was recent.
Had like the aura out of all the girls.
Oh, not that one. Hold on.
Received with a lot of love coming out in the real world, in the villa and stuff like that, and obviously coming out with real love. So it's been amazing. Yeah.
Like still
Received with a lot of love coming out. It's been amazing.
Yeah. Still trying to make this comparison. And you know what's so crazy? Like everyone is blaming like fans online about this comparing Nick and Olandria to Ace and Chelley, but it's like Ace literally started the whole comparison. Nobody was comparing them until that interview. I need y'all to remember that. No one was comparing Nick Olandria and Chelley and Ace and all of them because we saw them as a core four. Like a lot of us black women were like, okay, we get interracial love, we getting black love. Like we wasn't comparing them. We was like, okay, we all winning. It wasn't until this man went on the podcast and like he's still at it though. That's what's so crazy. And she's sitting next to him.
Received with a lot of love coming out in the real world, in the villa and stuff like that, and obviously coming out with real love. So it's been amazing and stuff like that, and obviously coming out with real love. So it's been amazing. Yeah. Stuff like that, and obviously coming out with real love. So it's been amazing. Yeah.
I mean, hurting her, like just hurting her. And then this is what Chris had to say about Chelley.
Had like the aura out of all the girls. Like it was her probably, you think, or what?
Nah, I'll probably say Chelley just because she was the big shark of the group.
What is the big shark? What does that mean?
So like, if we had anything going on, she was like the main one talking for the girls. You know what I mean? And she was like the one person. I think she was the oldest too, so I think that kind of spoke wonders. But everybody would go to her. Everybody would like count on her, rely on her, stuff like that.
Let me play that again.
Had like the aura out of all the girls. Like it was her probably, you think, or what?
Nah, I'll probably say Chelley just because she was the big shark of the group.
What is the big shark? What does that mean?
So like, if we had anything going on, she was like the main one talking for the girls. You know what I mean? And she was like the one person. I think she was the oldest too, so I think that kind of spoke wonders. But everybody would go to her. Everybody.
I don't think him saying that she was the big shark. I don't think that that's a negative thing. Like I think he was able to recognize the strongest personality. You know, like he was able to recognize the girl that has like the strongest aura pool in the room. Like he was just able to recognize that. I don't think that he is labeling her a big shark as like this negative thing. I think he just is reading the room and he's like picking up the energy and he's just like, oh, Chelley. Exactly. Chelley. So was Ace competing with Chelley? I don't know about that. They had a power struggle though. That's for sure. So I wouldn't be completely dismissive of that. But yeah. Let's see what else. Also, what a lot of people are not talking about, which I did not pull up the receipts for this, but Ace tried to create a redemption arc and it fell flat. And he did an interview on a Black woman's podcast, and it was an interview that she conducted. I don't know if it was a Black woman's podcast, but it was a Black woman that interviewed him. And no one talks about this interview, but this was not shortly right after the interview. I feel like a couple of weeks had passed, and then he popped up and he did this interview, and he sat down and this Black woman was interviewing him, trying to paint him in a better light, and it landed flat. And I want to explain why. The reason why his redemption arc after he did the Speedy interview landed flat was because he didn't apologize and he didn't take accountability. He didn't try to rewrite his wrongs. Like he just tried to brush it over, smooth it over, you know, similar to what he does within his relationship. He tried to do publicly. And again, it just was not working. So when he went on that podcast and the interview that he did, it was actually a good interview. I'm not a hater. I'm like, okay, if he would have apologized and then he would have came out with this interview, I felt like it would have landed better. I mean, of course, you can't get everyone on your side and, you know, make things right with everyone. But I think it would have created a better outcome when it came to his redemption. but unfortunately it just didn't. And it was because he should have led with accountability. He should have led with ownership of what he said and how it impacted Olandria negatively at least, you know, and then he could have apologized for that. But he chose not to do anything. So let's move on to Chelley and Olandria's friendship. Because I'm seeing the girls be naive about this, and I'm gonna be so real with y'all, okay? And y'all know I wanted this ship. If there were no ships to be had on Love Island, I wanted this ship to be forever. Like out of all the, if you've been following me, you've been following my breakdowns. I cried. I was like, this is like everything. Like, this is Black sisterhood. Like, damn, like, I'm loving this. Like, I wanted this shit to be forever. Like, honestly, I really did. And I'm going to be so real with you. It will never be the same. Okay? And the reason is because Olandria is the type of girl, she's the type of woman that moves off principle. She moves off principles. And situations may change, but principles don't. And so even though Chelley is not with Ace anymore, the principle of what happened is still there. And what also kind of ties into this is the fact that people have been trying to come after Olandria's relationship. Like, I saw the whole situation with Nick, Las Vegas, and like these random girls trying to paint this. He cheated on her. I don't even know what to call that. Like, they tried to create this rumor, or they tried to create this scandal that he cheated on her when he was in Vegas. And because Chelley was complacent or compliant, whichever route you take with that, right? She is going to feel the need to protect herself and her relationship from anyone that's been against her ever. Because she feels like I feel like if I were in her shoes, I wouldn't really trust nobody. Because I'm like, damn, people are trying to bring down my relationship. And like, people are like literally creating things. Like, it's like crazy. It's like people have been poking around in her relationship. So the reason I don't believe that they'll ever be what they could have been, I think they'll be cordial. I think they'll be friendly, of course. I don't think there'll be like any like animosity, like tension or animosity between them. I think it's just it'll never be this. Okay. It'll never be it'll never be that. It'll never be this. And to be honest, y'all, I actually think it's for the best. I do. I think it's for the best. And I don't blame Olandria. I don't blame Olandria. And I really don't blame Chelley either, because I felt like Ace put them in a lose-lose position, and then they separately dealt with it. Like, even Chelley, even though she's in this relationship with Ace, she still had to deal with that separately, right? And then Ace dealt with it his way, and then Olandria dealt with it his way, and then Nick is even dealing with it within his own way. Like, everyone was in a lose-lose situation to where they were left to deal with it separately. So, and maybe Nick and Olandria dealt with it together, maybe, but and then it even seems like they're dealing with it differently. Even if they dealt with it originally together, they're still handling it differently. So I don't think that will ever be. And it just comes down to the fact that Ace put everyone in a lose-lose situation. Then, not to mention, Chelley is still friends with Sierra. Like, she's still cool with them. And I'm pretty sure after this Halloween video, anyone that is like associated to Sierra, I'm pretty sure Olandria is kind of like defensive around, or not really open around.
No, because what do you mean there's a video of Sierra dancing and like Nick is behind her? Like, you just know that her friend was like, okay, dance, like, right now. Like, he's right there. Because you guys, what? So I talked about this yesterday, but I did not see this video from...
I'm sorry, y'all, but I have never in my life ever witnessed, like, this much weirdo behavior. And I'm talking about, like, not the good type of weirdo, because I'm a weirdo. It's not the good type of weirdo. It's not. It's very strange. I have never seen this type of weird behavior come out over a couple. Like, it's weird. I'm like, damn, like what they got going on is what they got going on. Like, the hell they got to do with me? You know what I mean? Like, I would never be so invested into a relationship to where I'm trying to troll, sabotage, because there was a clip of her dancing around them, like in their vicinity or whatever, and there was the song "Don't You Wish Your Girlfriend Was Hot Like Me," like that was playing, and then Sierra was in the back, and it was like, y'all doing too much. This is not healthy. Like, this is actually odd. Then I'm seeing it definitely gave Fatal Attraction. Then I'm seeing those girls from Las Vegas, and I'm just like, so y'all decided all of this through text and decided to actually act it out and go public with this and try to paint this man out to be like a cheater? And listen, at this point, if Olandria shows any glimpse, like if Nick shows any glimpse of their relationship moving forward, I would be surprised. Because I wouldn't give y'all much of nothing. I wouldn't give y'all much of nothing. Because this is not normal. Like, this is very weird. And it's just strange to me. Like, I'm like, what the hell?
Sierra's friend's Instagram story until today, and I am just like, oh my gosh. Because yesterday I was talking about how this weekend Nick and Olandria were at a Halloween party, and Sierra was also at the same Halloween party. A couple other people from Love Island were also there, like Iris and TJ. I mean, it was a big influencer party. Everyone was out, but I was wondering, you know, if Nick and Olandria had maybe had like a run-in with Sierra, if they saw each other at all in any capacity, because I could just imagine it being really awkward. I mean, Nick was literally like DJing this event, so I know Sierra saw him. I don't know why she would want to be there, but she was, and today I got my answer that they most definitely knew about the other's presence because they were like this close to each other in the Instagram story that her friend posted. So awkward.
So the reason I'm showing this is because some of y'all are being naive when it comes to Chelley and Olandria being friends again. Like, they'll be cordial, they'll be cool, they'll be colleagues, but they're not gonna be close like they were before. I'm sorry. It's just I'm pretty sure, because I also feel like Olandria is like a spiritually led woman. She's probably in overdrive when it comes to protecting her brand, protecting what she got going on within herself, and protecting her relationship. Like, I don't feel like it's ever gonna happen ever again. I'm sorry. But also, let me talk about how I don't even feel like Chelley wants to be close to Olandria. I said this was gonna be unpopular. I said it was gonna be unpopular. I also feel like Chelley probably feels the need to remain distant from Olandria because of the public fallout and how it caused her to be dragged to the extreme. I mean, Chelley was dragged to the extreme behind the whole fallout. And again, Ace was able to make that clean exit, and he was able to be protected under, I'm a black man, you know, I can speak my mind, but Chelley was not. So I think Chelley is a little distant and hesitant too about how she interacts with Chelley as well. Okay? Like, you could just tell in photos now. Like, look how they're posed here. Right? And then, let's see. Is it this one? Do you see the difference? Energy is open, right? When it comes to them holding the drinks, the energy is guarded. Like, there's a difference. And I feel like it's because they're protecting themselves. Like, this is what Ace did. Like, I just need y'all to understand. This is what he did, girl. This is what this man did. Okay. This is literally what he did. So they'll be cordial for sure, but they're never gonna be close like they were before, unfortunately. And it's because of what Chelley had to go through the last 3 months with her being unprotected due to fans and like parasocial relationship issues. I think both ladies are just protective of themselves when it comes to each other. So I think they're gonna stay separate. And I think it's for the best. I feel like, you don't have to be close to every black woman that's out here just because she's a black woman. Like, it's healthy to have those cordial associate relationships. Like, it's not a big deal. Okay. What else do I want to say? That's pretty much it. Let me go back to the one girl, see what she has to say. Let me get some reactions from TikTok because I want to see what they have to say. Oh, let me talk about, I think it's Nick, where he was talking about their privacy.
Nick talks about how he keeps his relationship with Alandria private.
It's hard enough with a lot of people being parasocial that I talked to my partner and we're like, okay, we're not going to really post much because we want to keep things private between us. Things like that, I'm not going to post on my spotlight. But it really depends what I'm doing. Like, if I'm doing something like Snapchat panel, like that's something that I go into thinking, okay, I'm going to pull out my camera for this. But if I'm going on a date with Alandria, it's like, I'm not going to publicize this. So I think for every event and content to myself, I set those boundaries beforehand.
I love how he put that because that's how their relationship should be, and that's how you know what they have is real. And before you guys come in the comments saying, oh, he called Alandria his partner, no. In another part of that interview, he says my partner and girlfriend. So get it right.
Ladies, what's going on in the chat box? It's a reality TV show. I feel like I gotta keep reminding people. I'm like, y'all, this is a reality TV show. This is all for entertainment purposes. Okay, this is just a reality TV show. Okay, these relationships were created over a summer fling. Maybe you haven't had a summer fling, but summer flings, I'm telling you, I've had a summer fling, y'all, and I don't think about that man like that. Okay, I just need it gets to a point. All right, it's just a reality TV show. This is for entertainment purposes only. All right. I just felt like there's a lot that could be learned from what we were entertained by. That's it. But it's just a reality TV show. This is just for entertainment purposes.
It's very, very clear that he cares for Alandria. Even Alandria's own mother commented this, saying, I love the way he treats her and shows up for her. He will ever have a special place in my heart. And Alandria says that Nick has been the same guy that he was in the villa. So I feel like that right there is telling us that he is being himself around her and that they're comfortable around each other and that what they have is real. And maybe we haven't seen no grand gesture of him asking her to be his girlfriend. I think they made things clear that they want things private and they don't need to record or post everything online all the time. They do not have to prove anything to us, especially the parasocial fans. But I love them. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments.
I just also want to say, like, when you post your relationship online and when you overexpose your relationship online, it starts to take a toll on your relationship because now it's about appearing a certain way constantly and it's not really about keeping the intimacy in your relationship alive. And also another thing that we can learn from this situation is what you say publicly. If you're in a public relationship, like if you choose to go public with whoever you're dating or whoever you're in a relationship with, you have to understand the things that you say can impact them. It can impact their job. It can impact their opportunities. It can impact anything that they may have going on if they have like a business or anything like that. It can impact how their family not only views them, but now views you. Like, you have to consider all of these things before you hit post to social media. And these are things that we never really had to talk about because social media wasn't around and it really wasn't a thing. But now it's like, if you're going to put your relationship out here, keep some things private. Like, don't overexpose. I'm not saying you can't post your relationship at all, but don't overexpose your relationship, because now you're letting thousands, potentially millions of people into the most intimate parts within your relationship that really need privacy, okay? And I felt like Nick and Olandria are learning that in the most extreme ways, because people are being very, very extreme when it comes to them. It's very weird. Okay, let me see what else. Oh, and principles to live by. Never choose a man over school, career, health, and a genuine friend. Feelings change and you can grow out of love. Feelings change. You can grow out of love. But when it comes to your foundation, like the foundation of who you are, your identity, your lifestyle, like all of these things that truly make you who you are, that is forever. So, you know, like I said, feelings change, situations change, people change, but your foundation, when it comes to your life that you have created for yourself, that is forever. And if anyone comes in and they try to disrupt the foundation that you have created while you were in your singlehood, that person is not for you. Like, that's a red flag. They should never come in and disrupt the foundation that you have created for yourself within your single womanhood. If anything, they should add to it. If they are disrupting or they're taking away from the foundation, then it's a red flag. It's a red flag. Use your discernment, okay? Now, I wanted to get into my opinion. This is unpopular. I wanted to do a breakdown about just my thoughts with how everything kind of played out and how the signs were there. The signs were there on the show. The signs were there actually within the first episode of them coming together. But so Chelley said that they mutually agreed to separate, but couldn't mutually agree on anything else. And that to me, it's like, it's hard for me to believe that they mutually agreed to separate. And I'm going to explain why. And this is super unpopular. I don't think that they mutually came to this agreement to separate. I feel like Chelley was playing the role of a ride or die, and she was going to stay in this relationship. She was going to try to make it work. And I believe that Ace is the one that logically came to his senses of feeling like they needed to mutually agree to separate because it was truly what was best for their careers. I believe it was his idea. I don't believe it was Chelley's. And that is just my opinion. And why? I mean, when you think about it, I felt like Chelley gave a lot in this relationship. She invested more. And even though there were obvious signs that maybe she should pull back and she shouldn't invest at all or invest as much, she still invested. And one thing that I know about women, when they give, they give so much and it gets to a point to where they don't want to disconnect because they've been giving, they've been investing, they even took losses, right? Like her momentum right out of the villa, that was a loss. Like her momentum was so high and it just slowly started to decrease, but she saw that decrease and she still stuck it out because she felt like, oh, this could still work. A lot of women stayed because they believe that it could still work. Even the Danish deception girlie, okay, Onyeka, she stayed. Even though that man took $30,000, she stayed because she felt like it could still work. A lot of women stay because they believe it can work. It's very rare, and this is the sad part, because I want this to change. The reason why I'm pointing this out, and this is going to trigger women in their ego, but it really needs to be said. There was a whole discourse on Twitter X, and if you remember, then you remember. Men were chiming in and laughing. There was a Reddit thread and everything about how men do things to women that are cruel, disrespectful, humiliating, low blows to get you to break up with them. To the point where, and this goes to show, women don't leave men. They don't. So men have to push you away for you to leave them. It's a common thing. It was a whole thread. And I'm like, what? They said, and they were comparing notes. Like the men were laughing and joking about it. If you remember that Twitter thread, if you remember that Reddit, okay? If you remember, the men naturally had that in common. They just decided to expose it on social media. Women rarely leave men. Either men leave women or men push you away. And it's a hard truth that a lot of women need to accept. And you need to unpack why. Like, why don't I leave at the first sign of this is not for me, this is not working in my favor, this is not really benefiting me? Like, why don't we leave earlier? Like, why does it always get to a point where that man pushes us away, like detaches emotionally? You try to talk to them, it's like talking to a wall, and you try to work things out, and it just seems like they're not trying to work things out. And it's like they're literally doing everything to push you away. So they typically do it that way, or they actually leave. Like the Danish Deception man, he just left. He was just like, yeah, this ain't serving me no more. Plus, the block is getting hot, and I need to disconnect. So why do you think women stay? Most times women stay. And a lot of women don't want to face that reality. So I don't think that this was a mutual agreement at all. I think Ace was the one to initiate, and I think Chelley agreed. Okay? So that's what I'm saying. I don't think Ace has fully learned from how his words can have a negative impact, even when it wasn't his intent. He still hasn't reflected, in my opinion, on the perception of what he said and how it just, for whatever reason, he's still stuck at, but it's not that serious. Or I said what I said and I meant what I said. I'm not taking back what I said and I'm standing on business with what I said. So I just feel like he hasn't really changed I don't think he's really learned from it. But one thing that I will say is he's experiencing loss right now. Like he's losing support. I think that he's not getting the opportunities that he's wanting. And this is another thing that I want to highlight too. It's not that Chelley and Ace are not getting opportunities. They are. But do you really think they're getting the opportunities that they really want? That's what I want to know. Do you think, put a 1 in the chat if you feel like they're getting the opportunities that they actually want, or 2, they're just getting the opportunities that are just given to them? Because those make a difference, okay? Also, one thing that I also noticed with Ace recently too, because a lot of people are like, well, why did they break up right before Christmas? Like, why did they break up during the holidays? Like, that's like such a big deal. I feel like it had a lot to do with the Clock It video. If you look at the Clock It video, it did really well. Short form content, like the promotion on Instagram, the promotion on TikTok, it did extremely well. But when it came to the long form content of the actual music video, it did not do as well. And I was actually shocked because I was like, wait a minute, this song was popular. Y'all remember when they had a very strong momentum and Ace came out with Clock It, like he came out with that song and it was everywhere. Like people were using the sound and everything like that. And they had like such a strong momentum and then like it died down. And then he released the music video for the song and it just did not do that well. So I think that Ace, I think he initiated, and then I think that Chelley agreed. And I think it had a lot to do with the fact that them staying together was a constant reminder of the Speedy interview. And now them separating, that reminder is going to fade because they're not together anymore. And if they would have stayed, that constant reminder of what Ace did was always going to be there. And so with them separating, that reminder fades, right? Because they're not together anymore. And now they can individually redeem themselves and build their brands back up to where it was before. And again, I believe that Chelley can redeem herself. This may be unpopular. I also believe Ace can redeem himself. But I feel like when it comes to Chelley, she's just going to have to show her personality more on Instagram and TikTok. Like she like live streams, like interacting with her fans, just like showing her personality. And I feel like she'll win people back with that. And I wouldn't do too many like just photos. I feel like she needs to talk and she needs to show her personality more. And I hope she takes gigs and opportunities that highlight her personality more and show her personality more, because that's what made people fall in love with her, was her personality. So the photos I don't think are going to work for her, but interviews, podcasts, just her like vlogging on her Instagram, those like spend a day with me type of videos, I feel like that will get her back to where she was at before. And then when it comes to Ace, if he just keeps dancing, I feel like he'll be fine. But honestly, them together, it was a constant reminder. Like, them together was just a constant reminder, and it was hard for them to move forward publicly. But I feel like they're both going to be able to move forward publicly. And I'm not saying Chelley can't take photos. Like, Chelley is gorgeous, but to get her redeemed publicly, do some vlogs, do some spend a day with me, what I eat in a day, like type videos. And I feel like that will help her a lot. So now, not to be messy, do you think Ace and Huda will ever link? You should have known I was gonna ask. You think they gonna link up? This is a real question. I want to know. Do you think they'll link up? Think about it. They're the most hated right now. No one likes them. Like, no one. They're the most hated. They're from the same reality show. Listen. If they do, listen, I'm going to leave this right here. If they do, I'm going to leave this right here. I ain't going to say nothing. But the thought did cross my mind. I'm like, I hope not. But, you know, it always amazes me when women say, I know my man, I know my man, I know my man, my man, my man, my man. Y'all always think y'all know these men, but you forget. The thing that you forget is they have free will. They always have free will, and they can exercise it at any given time. It doesn't matter how well you think you know that man. And to be honest, it doesn't matter how well you think you know someone, period. They always have that opportunity to exercise their free will. So, do you really know people like that? Do you? That's why when y'all be getting those readings, those love readings, and you be addicted to those love readings, and then you be like, that didn't happen. It didn't happen like that. It's because people have free will. So the energy could have been accurate at the time that you got that reading, but the energy can change because of free will instantly. So you really don't know someone until you know someone. And it all comes down to their free will and how they exercise their free will. So, oh, girl, not you saying they may do a song together. See, I didn't even think about that. Not y'all saying they may do a song together. We just gonna have to sit back and look and see how this goes. But yeah, just listen. All I'm gonna say is it won't surprise me if it happens. I just wanted to put that out there. So if they do link up or something like that, it has to be really bad for me to talk about it. Like, it has to be like so ridiculous for me to talk about it. But I just want to put on record as I close this out, because we about to head into 2026, that if it does happen, I'm not surprised. That's all I got to say. Y'all have a lovely night. Please give the video a thumbs up on your way out. I would greatly appreciate it. And thank you so much for watching and tuning in. And I hope to see you in my next one. Oh, before you go, what do you want me to talk about next? Akira being pregnant? Do you want me to talk about Kiki Jones? The honey jar is coming, so you don't have to vote on that. The honey jar is coming. Any other requests? Let me know. Comment down below, because Akira being pregnant, I'm out. Y'all have a lovely night.
This is my opinion. I'm free to state my opinion anytime I like, right? Thank you.
I don't want you to feel like that, but yeah, feel like that.
This is my opinion. I'm free to state my opinion anytime I like, right? Thank you.
I don't want you to feel like that, but yeah, feel like that.